you know, the thing with this ministry is the lifelong friendships that I will forever be grateful for. I mean, honestly, I love these women. Diane invited me and my daughters to come vacation and stay with their home this year. I mean, who does that, really? Especially if you know me and my girls. But anyways, it was wonderful. But
She's not as high maintenance.
No, I'm not. Really, I'm not. But anyways, these girls are just amazing to me, and I love them dearly. So I want you guys just to share a little bit about how you both got started and about your event, what you took away from it. We had the Niceville event in March, and it was a life-changing experience for all of the women in Niceville. I want you guys to talk a little bit about that, please.
Sorry. Well, what I want to say first is I'm looking at each of you out there in your chairs, and I'm remembering in 1994 that I went to an event, and it was not like this, but yet it could have been this. And at that event, God told me that He was calling me into women's ministry. And I decided right after that that must have meant that I was going to be Joyce Meyer or Beth Moore or something like that, and that I was ready to go, and all I had to do was just wait, and the phone was going to start ringing, and it was going to happen. Well, y'all know that's ridiculous, but I was only 40 then. I'm a lot smarter now, Sarah. And so I began a journey of being trained to be in women's ministry. And I was trained by divorce, and I was trained by hurt, and I was trained by rebellious children, and I was trained by starting a career and getting a college education at 52, and I was trained by a blended family, and I was trained by grandkids everywhere. They're coming out like rabbits, and that I got to be their nana, and you would think that I was getting ready to get on the rocking chair, and you would think that God really didn't speak to me, that I must have had too much pizza. But a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago now, I was on Facebook, and I saw this friend of mine who really wasn't a friend. I just saw her at this conference, and we liked each other on Facebook, and she liked LeadHer, and I went, LeadHer? Women leadership. I just got my degree in church leadership. I gotta check this out. And it's like the name is anointed. It's like when you see the name on Facebook, would any of you agree with me that it's like lights and flashes and confetti or something come around it, and it just like jumps off and grabs you? Well, that's what happened, and I knew it was a brand new thing, and I love brand new things. I like to be at the beginning of things. I don't like to come on later. I want to start it when you're helping to build it. But I wanted to make sure it was real. And the first time I was on a conversation with this leadership, I knew it was. And I felt strongly that God called me to do that. And the interesting thing was, 4 months before that, I had gone to a conference and had someone speak into my life that God was ready to start this in me. And He had me look down the aisle, and she said, and there's your team. And this one was there, and I knew that I had seen that she was an amazing in her strengths were some areas I was weak in, and that her heart was so tender for God, and she wanted to know Him more. And so God showed me my coordinator before He even showed me LeadHer. But I knew that as the coordinator, I had to make up my mind that whether she said yes or no, we were going, and I did. I knew that I was called to do this, and so Monica and I sat down, and of course she said yes. And I just encourage you, you may not be being set up to be a LeadHer coordinator, but you may. And if you're not being set up for that, you're being set up for something. And if you think that you're just supposed to go around to little women's ministries conferences and soak it up and go home, no. God has something for you to do. And I don't believe there's a ministry you can get involved with more impactful than what we're doing right now. And what I love is what Christy shared, or Christy, Janelle, somebody shared earlier about the younger and the older. And you always think sometimes about the the older mentoring the younger. But we see in our chapter that it goes both ways. And just a couple of weeks ago, in our month of overcoming guilt and shame, we had a takeout and testimony meeting, and basically everybody brings their favorite greasy, fat takeout, and we eat it all together, and we have 5 women share. And what was so interesting was one of the women that were sharing was talking about the shame she felt because her teenage and young children were not living for God, and she felt shame. And immediately, 3 of our 30-something women stand up and speak life into her and say, when I was their age, I was them, and see where I am now. And she went home encouraged from the younger. And then we see these women who are dealing with toddlers and infertility and miscarriage, and then we have people come along that have already walked through that. And I can't wait till we get to where we have these 16 and 18 and 20-year-olds, and we can just have 3 generations or 4 generations going on in there. And so God started preparing me in 1994, and this was what he was preparing me for. And LeadHer wasn't even a glimpse in Christy's eye then. She was probably in high school or something. Or maybe even middle school, who knows?
I was 14.
She was 14. Now, maybe that doesn't impact y'all, but God started preparing me for something that he knew was coming. And she didn't even know. And you don't know what's next in your life. It is an adventure if you will allow the Christian life to be. It is an adventure. So we are thrilled to be a part of this ministry.
Wow, that's a lot to go after, but I will just tell you that if you think today that you are not worthy to be a coordinator for LeadHer because you're not a perfect Christian and your life's not perfect, well, think again, because that's exactly what I thought. And I kept praying to God, and I kept saying to him, no, not me. No. Get somebody who, is a better Christian, who lives at the church 24/7. That's who needs to be doing this, not me. But God just kept telling me, you're the one that I want to do this. And I kept saying, no. Diane didn't really tell the full story of it, because I didn't say yes right away. It did take some time. So I would just say, go home, pray about it, take everything in from this conference. And maybe it's not to be a LeadHer leader. Maybe it is to do something different. But listen to God's still small voice and believe in yourself. Because when you're not qualified, he will make you qualified. And he makes up the slack. And I just think every time he just fills me with the Spirit and tells me what to say, because I am so not prepared for it. And the other thing I'll say is the LeadHer Live conference was life-changing for many of the women in our area. And I've seen friends of mine that I've known my entire life that have had secrets or shames or guilts tear down the walls and really draw closer to God, and it's made us closer. And then I would also say that, we've had people step out in leadership positions in other organizations like MOPS or different things that they're doing within their church. So I just think to have the opportunity to take any part of LeadHer is just wonderful. It's a great experience.
Wanda Larson, who's here with us,
has a similar story to you, Amanda, that she's a pastor's wife and was just very quiet and shy. And since she's been coming to LeadHer, she felt at the conference that God spoke to her at the conference. And since then, she's teaching a women's Bible study and has actually given the message twice in church. That's unbelievable.
And I have a best friend who, was a Christian but wasn't really walking out her faith like she should. And she came to the LeadHer Live conference, and her life has been forever changed. As a matter of fact, I got a text from her this morning that said, "I'm really kicking myself that I'm not there with you guys today because I'm craving that time with God and with you all." So soak it up, ladies, and get out and make a difference. As Christy says, we were not saved to sit on the sidelines. You were saved to serve. So.